The big polluters, they are lying to us again. And Wall Street is seeking to profit from an addiction that has us all in its grips. Some corporations are known to lie and hide facts, just as Big Tobacco had until the 1990s, when they were called out by Congress about their own studies on nicotine's habit-craving properties that they use to formulate more addictive cigarettes.
Just yes or no, do you believe nicotine is not addictive?
I believe nicotine is not addictive, yes.
Mr. Johnston.
Congressman, cigarettes and nicotine clearly do not meet the classic definitions of addiction. There is no intoxication.
We'll take that as a no record.
I don't believe that nicotine or our products are addictive.
I believe nicotine is not addictive.
I believe that nicotine is not addictive.
Now Big Oil, led by ConocoPhillips CEO Ryan Lance, seeks to meet oil demand to pre-COVID levels as early as 2022. And he goes on to explain ConocoPhillips' bullish strategies with Wall Street after buying Shell's assets.
In our kind of view, the world is going through an energy transition. There's going to be increased demand for the product as we go forward. We have a very stated strategy to be really driving the company and its portfolio to the lowest cost of supply so we can continue to meet the demand in a transitioning world.
This in front of all to witness, while the world's top atmospheric scientists have made their case that it's time to draw down carbon emissions or suffer grave global consequences as floods, droughts, fires, intense storms, ocean shore erosion, and sea level rise gets much worse. Did you know that global warming was well understood by the oil and gas industry as early as 1982? That year, Exxon predicted the continued use of hydrocarbons by 2060 would raise global average temperatures to around 2 degrees Celsius. Exxon's Environmental Affairs Program warned potentially catastrophic events must be considered. Their leading scientists predicted devastating sea level rise and warned that the American Midwest and other parts of the world could become desert-like. Exxon buried that report. It was finally leaked in 2015. Shell projected similar findings in 1988, but noted CO2 could double even earlier in 2030. Shell's study forecasted a 1-meter sea level rise and found that the warming trend could disintegrate the West Antarctic ice sheet, resulting in a sea level rise of 5 to 6 meters. Don't take my word for it. Links to these memos and related articles are in the description box below. The greenhouse effect, kept confidential by Shell, found that global temperatures would increase by burning hydrocarbon fuels, not by natural cycles as so many have been led to believe. The Shell report justifies their actions, claiming the climate problem not as significant to mankind as nuclear holocaust or world famine. Well, that sure is comforting, Shell. Then they go on to claim the main burden of addressing climate change rests not with the energy industry, but with governments and consumers. So instead of sharing their science and giving us fair warning, they used it against us to fund shady players to counter-argue atmospheric science and have politicians vote against the legitimacy of climate change. The largest publicly traded oil and gas giants knew their carbon footprint was a serious threat and saw a fight coming. So for 3 years following the Paris Agreement, they invested in over $1 billion of shareholder funds on misleading climate-related branding and lobbying.
Keith McCoy thinks he's being headhunted for a new job. In fact, of course, he's being covertly filmed.
We aggressively fight against some of the science. Yes. Did we join some of these shadow groups to work against some of the early efforts? Yes, that's true. But there's nothing illegal about that.
It's devastating to believe this is a true story. Then again, what would you expect from a corporate giant power? By definition, corporations are non-human entities. No CEO to have any moral obligation. Oil executives are now more than ever akin to an artificial intelligence gone rogue. In this case, AI, oil and gas, if given the reins, will take us down a path of doom they forecasted as globally catastrophic. Sure, everyone likes to make money, but oil spends theirs to spin a clean image, push against clean energy policy in Washington, and lobby for their own growing capital. How is it Shell and Exxon haven't been called out on the carpet as the tobacco companies had? We have their documents and expose them lying to us. It's fair to assume under our noses the largest publicly traded oil and gas majors have a very special bond with lawmakers.
Senators pressed to do Exxon's bidding behind closed doors.
You want to be able to go to the chief. And so the chief knows you, that you can go to the chief and say, look, we've got this issue. We need Congressman so-and-so to be able to either introduce this bill. We need him to make a floor statement. We need him to send a letter. You name it. We've asked for everything.
To play a better Shell game with us. Clean solar energy is more important now than ever before. Not the same for oil and gas. You can't outrun rising global temperatures, but you can adapt and outsmart the consequences that climate change will bring to your business and your family by stepping into, as so many already have, renewable energy. At iSolar Hot Water, we prepare you, the mechanical or plumbing engineer, the design build contractor, the developer, the solar professional, and adapt you for the renewable energy advantage, selling, designing, and building solar thermal energy systems. Join us in a rapid and sustained reduction of greenhouse gas emissions and for your success in renewable energy. We count on you, those in the building trades, and our fans who root us on, because there are some who we can't count on. Renewable energy needs you. If you belong here, I need you. So subscribe now to the iSolar Hot Water YouTube station and click the bell for notifications. Are you made for this? Make sure you subscribe and share this video.